You're listening to Hot Sauce Sports with Mo Cohen, Peeze and Terry Tam.
I now know that I'm on with a spy, depending on who's the captain of this ship. That's probably a bad thing if this podcast is supposed to go viral, isn't it?
Cordero Patterson like grabbing some shanks, gentleman here, and he quote, and I quote, "I'm a grown man. I don't need nobody blank and blank in my balls, my face."
In my teenage years, I'd get back from high school, I'd smash 2 pizza pockets. Carmelo Anthony never learned you can't live life just smashing pizza pockets.
Because he lost a double bet, what I did is I cut a jalapeno in half, and I filled it with hot sauce. So he's going to have to slurp this down.
Why you give me a fucking banana, dude? I'm not eating a banana. I'll rather piss in my mouth than eat this.
Okay, so there we go. Stop stalling. Let's go. Go.
Now, here are your hosts, Mo, Terry, and Peeze.
Welcome everyone. You're listening to Hot Sauce Sports. I'm your host, Peeze. I am joined by the illustrious, the illustrated, the often ill Terry Tam.
Awfully ill?
Yeah.
I just been constipated a bit.
Yeah, you gave it to me somehow. Last week was
Oh,
awful.
you been constipated? It's
Last
fun,
week
right?
was awful. It was the worst thing.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I've never been constipated before.
I've
never been full of shit that way.
What's worse, constipation or blue balls?
I wouldn't know.
Blue
if it's the
balls,
second one.
always blue balls. Blue balls,
Blue
always
balls are
wins.
bad, man.
The worst.
Your balls hurt. Like, they feel like they're fucking full of cum.
Yeah.
It's because they are.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
I mean, they have professionals that can help you with that.
They also have my hand that can help me with that.
That's true. That's true. Giving us a hand in production, of course, is the Eagle at Master Control. And Duke,
Yeah, what's up,
how's
guys?
it going, buddy?
Yeah.
I don't ever have like a way to introduce you, cause like you're both content and technical. So
Yeah,
like, can we make up a title for you?
sure.
We did. It's the
have.
graphicist.
Graphicist.
Graphicist, supreme graphicist.
Supreme graphicist.
Senior Vice President of Marketing Design.
That's too long.
Senior Vice President of Bustin' Balls.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my resume, boys.
Ball bust.
Yeah.
Ballist. We're gonna talk some balls later today.
Yeah.
On the show, lots of balls. For the moment, however, guys, I had a terrible day.
What do you mean?
Terrible day. Lunchtime, I go to reheat my lunch, and like we've talked about it on the show. You guys know this. I've been eating a fairly restricted diet for the last year or so. Feel great.
Yeah.
It's been going
We wanted
well.
to order pizza.
I
But
know,
you got
I'm like,
married. You don't need to do this anymore.
that's not why I was losing weight. That suit was tailored. The rest of mine aren't. So I grabbed my hot container out of the microwave, and it slipped out of my hands and turned face down and spilled all over the floor.
Terrible.
So I felt like Kevin spilling chili in the office and to clean that up. And then on top of that, I didn't get to eat until I got home because I work surrounded by food
Yeah.
at all times, but nothing there
You can't eat
fits
it.
my diet.
Yeah.
So I just sort of stared at the wall. I ate a yogurt and some almonds, and that's all I had because also I'm not eating breakfast with the intermittent fasting and all that. And so I didn't
intermittent
eat
fasting, what else? You're cutting out carbs, I guess?
not everything else is balanced. Like it's like
Okay,
20% carbs and 40-40.
But I feel like when it comes to lunch, that's basically the equivalent of an emergency. And so even in that case, like zombie apocalypse or nuclear holocaust, you wouldn't have carbs?
No, because the lack of carbs has made me so weak that the zombies will get me right away anyway. So I don't need to worry about eating. I will just be food.
I won't be food.
And anytime you can
not
be
tasty.
something, you should just do it, right? At least
Yeah.
you're something.
That's a good point.
Then, so I waited till I got home to eat, and then of course I'm starving. So I crammed basically what was my lunch and my dinner into my face at the same time, and now I feel disgusting. I feel heavier than I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
All I've had was like a shitty plate of pasta today, and I'm starving. I'm going to pick up something on the way home.
Oh, look at this guy! I can have pasta whenever I want. Terry, a little bit of a change this week.
Yeah?
We
A good change, actually.
we like to keep it fresh. We got some interesting people coming on. We're gonna go to the interview right away because we're trying to go more and more towards a live setup. For those of you watching on Facebook Live, you know that it's been very successful. Actually, people have really responded to that. We are now joined with Peter Zergiotis. Peter, he joins us from Grant's Boxing. He's a trainer there.
Yes.
How's it going, Peter?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Peter, I hear you have a special guest for us in a little bit, but right now we're just going to tease that. We won't get into that yet. We're going to talk to you first, and then we'll have you introduce the special guest whenever you
So I
feel
should probably
fit.
take it off the screen.
Perfect.
All right, and it's on the screen as well. Part of doing this live, Otis Grant will also join us, but we'll start with Peter Zergiotis. How's it going, Peter?
Good, guys. Good. How are you tonight?
I get no help from producers. That's how I'm doing.
What's going on, Pete?
Good old producers, eh?
I know.
So me and Pete go way back. Me and Peter go way back. We used to have our own little
We
podcast.
do go way back.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we used to have our own little podcast.
Yeah.
It was live. It was from 11 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday nights on a multicultural radio station in Montreal. The one that didn't pay us, that we both left because they didn't pay us.
That's fair.
And then we had this random slot. We talked about football and MMA. It was cool. What was the name of your buddy that used to come all the time with the dreadlocks?
MC Jay McGovern.
Yeah, this guy was classic, man. He was there just for like the MMA stuff. I think at that point he was like a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and he was hilarious, man. I love that guy. And then
He's still around. He's still doing his jiu-jitsu. Yeah, absolutely.
he does, yeah. And then we had your brother on too. But what have you been up to, Pete?
Yeah.
What's been going on?
Well, guys, I've been working in the gym, coaching, training boxing at the Grant Brothers Boxing Gym the last few years. That boxing is pretty much basically my existence right now at the moment and in the future. And no more radio business for me, but still involved in the sports scene more or less.
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome. Pete, your cousin, your nephew Jack, is actually playing down in Connecticut, I believe.
Yeah, he plays at the University of Connecticut. Yeah, absolutely.
Quarterback.
Jack.
I had the opportunity to meet him and play against him in flag football, and flag football produces its own like local legends. Like, this guy's really good.
Yeah.
And then I saw Jack throw the ball. I was like, no, actually, this guy's really
Oh
good.
yeah, he broke my finger. Throwing me the ball.
Well-
He broke my finger.
Well, CBS's words, not mine. They said that he has an NFL caliber arm, and they nicknamed him the Canadian Gunslinger. So
The Connecticut
he's
Gunslinger.
I'm hoping that he makes all West Islanders proud and all Montrealers and Quebecers proud, and gets to the show and does great in the college game as well.
I hear the Jets are looking for a QB, so maybe you should audition.
Yeah, maybe he just leaves college.
That's the
early.
last team we want him to be drafted for. But okay, sure.
Pete's a Cowboy fan, by
Yeah.
the way, and a fucking
Great.
diehard one.
Yeah.
That's why we bond.
Well, unfortunately, Jack's playing for a system that doesn't pay him and won't allow him to operate as a true free agent for another 3 years. So we'll talk about that later in the show because we have some Tim Tebow sound queued up.
Oh,
But
yeah.
before we get to that, what have you, being a trainer in a boxing gym is always been sort of like glamorized by movies. We've seen obviously the memorable characters in Rocky and so on and so forth. How do you see that depiction versus sort of like how it exists in real life?
Well, basically, it's more insane in real life and in person and actually happening. The movies they pretty much one movie, that $1 Million Baby, I find that they depicted it quite well with like how a boxing gym is, with the way the system, the way it's run, the atmosphere in a gym. It's a very homey place, a lot of ego, a lot of competition, but it gets pretty, especially here at the Grant Brothers Gym. Like we have a very solid, very old school mentality and philosophy in training fighters. Howard Grant is a very typical, stereotypical old school 1940s, 50s, 60s boxing trainer style, where he big time. If you know the guy, he's very legendary when he comes to stuff like that. Not soft at all. Everything comes from his heart. Everything is done with pride and passion, and that's the kind of mentality that I've taken on as a head coach in the amateur program. But learning from Howard and Otis and Jesse Thompson and a whole bunch of guys, a lot of trainers here that I learned from. That we have a lot of different types, a lot of different characters. Let's just say that everyone has their own unique brand in coaching, and I think you guys all noticed that. I've seen that, in any other sport you've ever played. Every coach brings their own thing, and like some guys take from everybody. And that's kind of what I try to do.
Yeah, I mean, boxing is a unique thing where it's like, if you're in that gym, you're in there because you kind of belong. Where other gyms, especially at Grant's, you're in there because you belong and like, you have that family aspect. But like Pete said, it's like, you get into some gyms and they don't have that family aspect. Everybody's out for themselves, even though you can be competitive and shit. Everybody's out for themselves, and it's just like you don't get that hominess. And as soon as you find that, those are the successful gyms right away. Bam, you can tell.
Yeah, Terry knows that. He's trained here before, and he was part of the gym once too. Here it's a very unique and very special gym. Like absolutely, and like it's probably, in my opinion, many people's opinion, one of the best gyms in Canada.
Yeah.
The head coach, Howard Grant is probably the best in my. Let's just say, he's the best head coach, the best trainer in Canada, in my opinion,
sure.
at least. And very different here. It's like a family atmosphere. Fighters get along, a lot of respect. There's no BS, no bullshit. Howard will fucking call you out no matter what. Excuse my language, boys, if I could say that.
Don't worry about it, man.
Please,
Don't worry about it.
But Howard will fucking call you out right away. He'll fucking throw you out of the gym. Doesn't matter. Howard will treat a fucking bum off the street, and we'll chant the same exact way. And that's the kind of mentality that we bring here. That everyone has to, not basically earn respect, but you have our respect until you lose it. And if you want to fight, and if you're a fighter or someone, either an amateur, someone trying to learn, or a pro coming in from another country or anything, you'll get the best. You'll get the best. You'll be treated the best. It's definitely a tight knit community in this gym.
What if I want to take on these three jabronis in the gym at the same time? Can we do that? Can we set that up like a hot sauce event? I beat up all three of you fucking pieces of shit.
So, but who am I paying to take my place? And how much is this going to cost me?
You pay Peter.
Yeah, Peter, how much is
Can I
this
hit
going to
you in
cost
the
me
nads?
Yes,
for you to
can.
take my spot?
Pay Peter, and Peter can kick my ass. No problem.
Because I enjoy being pretty more than I enjoy fighting.
Yeah, but, and me and Peter
Then
aren't pretty.
maybe
We're
you stay out of
rugged.
the ring then. Yeah, maybe you stay out of the ring then. You never know. Anything could happen.
Have you ever seen someone like me, Peter? Or you see a guy walk in and you're like, "Oh, this guy's a rag doll. I got to get him out of this gym because he's gonna die here."
Yeah. That's how I
Have
feel
we
about
seen
it.
people coming into the gym? Yeah, there's some people who come into the gym and they have no idea what fighting's all about. And they do want to get in there and start competing right away. We kind of just try to not exactly laugh it off, but more or less, see what they got and basically try to be as polite as possible. And
I love that shit, man.
How
maybe
long
more
until
than
you
a
throw
little-
in the towel?
How long till we throw the towel? Well, you know what? It's in a real fight. Basically, no one's showing up here going into the ring. If it's just anybody, guys who compete, they got to be told when they're ready to get in there. At least in the amateur program, the pros as well. They've had like seasoned amateur careers, most of them, and the other ones that come in here from other gyms or other countries who train with us, they also, they're able to fight. In a situation when they're fighting, throwing in a towel is a very tricky business because, as a trainer, as a coach, as a cornerman, there's times where you want to throw in those towels, but fighters, with the adrenaline going and all the pride, and fighter doesn't know when to stop.
Well,
Great coach
we
has
saw
to know.
two fighters die this year because
Yeah.
because they stayed
Yeah,
in too
it's,
long. I mean, it's tough. It's really tough to watch. They were so close apart, and it's tough to watch. And one of them, the coach actually stopped the fight. He's like, "Listen, I'm not letting you go through," and eventually he ended up passing away in the hospital.
Yeah.
But just to say, you
A lot of
got to
it-
be bigger than you.
It's a tough game, and like I said, fighters don't want to quit. And one thing I've learned about the fighting game, and I've been taught by like Howard and Otis about these kind of situations, that this is like ongoing damage from previous fights, long-term careers where fighters go into these situations after fighting 200 amateur fights, 20 pro fights, and it's like and it's built up over time.
Yeah.
It's built up over time, and and sometimes it's not even detectable. That's the sad part about it. Sometimes a lot of these things are like a small little minor this or that. It's not even detectable. And and one bad punch or a couple of bad, it's also up to the ref too to decide when to stop the fight. It's not just the cornerman, and sometimes they fuck up too. So
Yeah. I mean, did you watch
So
the fight?
it's a
Did you
tough
watch the
game.
fight this weekend, Pete?
it's Tyson Fury. I watched it, guys, but to tell you the truth, for that one I'll pass you more to Otis because he can give you more of an actual expert opinion. Okay, so I'm going to pass Otis Grant over to you right now.
Okay, but come back on the line after. We want to talk shit.
I will. Go ahead.
Great. That was Peter Zergiotis joining us on Hot
All
Sauce
right, guys, I'm
Sports.
here with Otis right now.
And now Otis Grant is joining us on Hot Sauce Sports.
Hey, Otis, how's it going, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
Not bad, man. How's the gym going? How's the family?
Gym's going all right, man. My family's good. My daughter got married. My son's away at university, so
Yeah.
things are okay. Me and my
It's,
wife alone at home now.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I mentioned your son because your son just got a scholarship to university in the States for football. He's a big boy. He's a very talented football player. I mean, and so you have you and Peter. Peter's nephew plays in university. Now your son plays in university. It's a mix between boxing and football. There,
That's
It's weird.
awesome.
Yeah. Otis, did you watch the fight this weekend?
I did watch the fight.
What'd you think of it? Because I have a lot of opinions on this.
You know what? It was a good fight. Tyson Fury won the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, if that fight was somewhere else, anywhere else probably, like outside of England, they would have stopped that fight.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I
It
think
was
they should have stopped it. Yeah.
Yeah, the nasty cut.
My thing with that, Otis, is that I watched the fight. They should have stopped it, but they didn't. Ended up going the way it did. But I found that nobody gave Otto Wallin a lot of credit the entire night. All they did was talk about the cut. They didn't talk about the guy. And Otto Wallin has had like the early first 8 rounds. He was probably winning 5 or 6 of those rounds.
I don't know if he won 5 or 6 of them, but the fight was close early. And then, like, I don't know if you saw, I think it was in the 10th round that Fury tried to get him, and then he slowed down a little bit. In the 11th round, the guy came out, man, and Otto Wallin put it to him in the 11th round.
Those are those championship rounds, right?
Yeah. And for a guy in his first world title fight going first 12-rounder, he did a pretty good job.
Otis, if for those in our audience who aren't necessarily familiar, perhaps a little bit younger, if I were to tell people this is Otis Grant joining us on Hot Sauce Sports, is it Otis Grant, 1987 Pan Am's silver medalist? Is it first ever Black Quebecois winner of a WBO championship? What's to you your proudest moment as a boxer?
My proudest moment as a fighter was probably going into my opponent's home country in his backyard and beating him in his hometown to win the world title. That was a process. We set up our training camp in England. We rented a house in England for like 7 or 8 weeks, and we're over there. Weeks before anybody knew we're over there training, and that was probably as a fighter, probably one of my better memories or proudest moments. And I don't think might have been few guys since me from Canada, or even from many places that's won a world title on the road in their opponent's backyard. That doesn't happen very often.
It's true if you think about it. All the local guys usually win in Montreal or in the States or somewhere like that.
That's right.
They don't go across the pond.
They don't leave home.
Yeah.
They have the comfort and security at home. And like I was good enough and had enough confidence in myself, my ability, that when that fight came, we took it. Like whether it was England, I was an American promoter at the time, and whether it was going to be in the U.S. or Canada or overseas, like I was fairly confident that it doesn't matter where the fight was, I was going to go and I was going to go and try to win.
And that's of course when you beat Ryan Rhodes in 1997. Shortly thereafter, you suffered a pretty awful car crash, and I remember because I was in my last year of high school, and of course, like you were gaining steam, and I was, back then boxing was on the forefront of the American sports fan.
Back then, Montreal was big into boxing because of people like Otis.
But that's it. And Otis to me was sort of like that guy who got everyone's attention. And I saw here, I remember reading that if it wasn't for your incredible physical conditioning, you wouldn't have survived that crash. Is that right, Otis?
Pardon, I didn't catch the last part of that question.
I said, well, I remember reading at the time that the doctors had said if it wasn't for your incredible physical condition and the shape you were in, you wouldn't have survived that crash.
You're 100% right. I was just coming off training camp. I was in training camp with Roy Jones, actually. I fought Roy my fight before the accident, and he was going to unify the titles with Reggie Johnson, and they thought enough of the performance I did with him to invite me to training camp because Reggie Johnson was a southpaw, and they wanted some quality guys in camp, giving them some work to get ready for that fight. And then they were going to do a show at the Bell Center. It was going to be the first boxing show, the inaugural show at the new Bell Center because it was the old Forum before. Mm-hmm. And I was supposed to do the main event against Alain Bonamy. He was a local Quebec guy here.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was away training at Roy, and I came back about the week before the fight. Fight at Bell Center to open that, be the first boxing card there. And it was on my way from a meeting up north having to do with getting a release from my promoter to fight at home because I hadn't fought home in many years because I was signed an American promoter that I had the accident coming back from up north. I ended up in a coma for about, I think, 10 days or over a week, and I was in the hospital for about a month, So, and the doctor, from what I hear, they gave me my last rites. They didn't think I was going to make it. So the chaplain came in and gave me my last rites, but I'm still here, man.
Yeah, man.
Still
Still
here
fighting.
kicking at it.
Honestly, it's as fans, it's amazing. It's been incredible for your family, obviously, to have you, and of course to those you've helped train in the community with your gym, with you and your brother Howard.
Yeah, we've had like what was also quite I guess amazing, remarkable, or unexpected thing was the fact that I came back to boxing 5 years after that car accident. The doctor told me I'd never be an athlete. He said I'd be lucky to be a recreational athlete ever again in my life. And I came back to the sport with the intention of opening the gym, and I think it was after my second or third fight back, we opened the gym, Grant Brothers Boxing, and we've been up and running since 2000. I think 3 or 4. We've been at it, man. So
you guys were at like Ring 83 before, right?
Yeah, that's where Ring 83.
Yeah, that's where I trained when I was a kid. I remember Howard being there and yelling at us when we did the classes.
Yeah.
Howard's tough, man. Howard's tough. So Otis, you've lived through it. Roy Jones, I mean, that was a crazy fight for me because you were from Montreal. Roy Jones was my favorite fighter back then. He was like everybody knew Roy Jones, right? So it was tough to watch that fight. Right now, who would you say is the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now?
Right now, you know what? I like Lomachenko is real good.
Yeah.
But I like Errol Spence.
Errol Spence is nice. See, a lot of people say Terrence Crawford or Lomachenko or even Errol Spence. Yeah.
I also like Terrence Crawford's pretty good as well. Like I think those three guys would be like my top three. I wouldn't really pick one of them or the other to be, leading the pack. But I like Earl Spence. He's fighting Sean Porter coming up. That's gonna be a
yeah,
fight.
that's gonna be a crazy fight too. Yeah, Earl Spence has a little bit your style. I figure that's why you probably like him.
No, I think he's gonna be it's gonna be an easy fight for him. It's gonna be as tough a fight as people think for Spence. But the reason I've also met a kid, and the guy that trains him, I fought him, his trainer. We fought back in the day when I was a North American champion. I fought him in Rochester, New York, on a USA Tuesday Night Fight show. So I'm a little bit interested in seeing how those guys doing. They're doing very well. I'm quite happy for him, and he's a quiet kid. I think I hear outside the ring he parties a little bit, but aside from that, he does his job, man. He's a complete fighter. He works the body. He could box. He could punch. Yeah. He has good power in both hands. So I like him, and he also switches left to right fairly easily too.
So I got a two-part question, Otis. So we're Terry's buddies with your trainer Peter Zergiotis. We want two questions about him. One is, how is Peter as a trainer? Let's start with that one. How's Peter as a trainer?
Peter is.
You can throw him under the bus if you want.
Trainer.
All right, he's fantastic.
All right. He's fantastic. He's very enthusiastic. He has a lot of energy. He's able to reach the kids, and they listen to him. And I think the gym, every gym needs a guy like Peter in there. Because he's like go get it, and he's very enthusiastic. He encourages the guys to do well. He comes in, he works with them. So he's doing very well. He's learning his stuff, and he's getting better and better every day. And actually, I even boxed with Peter on Saturday. I had a boxathon that we did for charity, and I went a round or two with him there as well. So he's doing. And Peter's been with us actually since we're up on Brunswick Street, since our old gym, when our first location with Grant Brothers. So Peter's been around us for a while now, and now he's in here and he's giving us a hand with the amateur program, and it's really appreciative because it's kind of hard to hold down some amateur coaches after a while. They come, they try, they get discouraged, they move on, but Peter is sticking with it.
Peter's the most focused guy I know.
That was, of course, you guys did that to raise money for Parkinson's, right?
No, on Saturday was for the pancreatic, Jewish General
sorry.
Pancreatic Cancer. We have a member, a friend of ours, whose daughter dates a young man whose mom was diagnosed with stage
That's
4
awful.
pancreatic cancer. And usually that's a death sentence. And like they did some experimental treatment on her or with her, and now she's, I think, 11 months later, she's cancer free.
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
amazing.
So-
That's amazing.
So she was so appreciative of these people saving her life. She wanted to do something to give back. And David, who was our buddy that boxed with us and we grew up with since we were little, asked if we could use the gym to do a boxing fundraiser in aid of pancreatic cancer. And also David's mom passed away, like, it's been quite a few years now from pancreatic cancer. So like I said, David, no problem. If you get together, we could use the gym to do a community fundraiser for the hospital. And it went very well. I was here early in the morning. I was here from around 8:30 till about 11, and then I took off to go watch my son's football game.
That's amazing. It's great to have you in their corner, and of course, if we'll talk to Peter if there's ever anything we can do to help support any of the causes that you guys are involved in, we're totally down. But I have a bit of a sillier question because we asked firstly how Peter was as a trainer, but now I want to know if Terry went to challenge Peter in the ring.
I'll fucking.
What's scouting report, Otis? Like, what does Terry target? How does Terry take him down?
Yeah, like what's Pete's weak spot? You got to tell me so when I fight him, I can win.
Hey man, I bounced a round or two with Peter on Saturday, and I couldn't find a weak spot.
You got no chance,
Fuck,
Terry.
I'm done.
If the champ go, he can't find a weakness. There is no
Good luck,
weakness.
Terry. Good luck. Good luck, Terry.
I'm done.
Otis,
Hey, by the way, you know what? We have an amateur boxing show coming up on October 5th. Peter is going to be like one of my head amateur trainers in here. So if you guys want to come out to that or give us a little bit of publicity or coverage
course,
on
yeah.
that'd be
We'll
well
do everything we
appreciated.
can. Yeah, we'll come by.
absolutely, that sounds great.
All right.
Otis, thank you so
All right,
much for your time, and we know you're very, very busy. We're just going to close out with Peter. Thank you so much for your time. This has been, honestly, it's been a great moment for us.
Dream.
For us as fans. It's absolutely a dream. Thanks for talking to us.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, Otis. You too.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
buddy.
Pete, October 5th, me and you in the ring or what?
You know what, Terry? I'll be busy that night, but you know what? I guess I can make some time to punch you in the face a couple of times. Maybe a good little shot.
You
Hey,
do
you
have a
know,
punchable face, Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a punchable face because I'm too cute. You got to
Yeah,
break it
you
up
have
a
a
bit.
you have a lovable, punchable face.
That's
you
what it
know,
is,
So I
yeah.
don't know.
Pete,
Yeah. So
Pete, thank you so
Yes,
much. You came to us from Grant's Gym, of course. Thanks for spending some time with us. When is the event that Otis just told us about? When was that event?
that event is Saturday, October 5th, at the Grant Brothers Gym. It's our first amateur gala of the season.
Mm-hmm.
$25 at the door for anybody who wants to come in. It starts at 7 o'clock, and doors open at 6. And it's quite the event, though, boys. Like, you know, it's a first-class amateur event. Here, it's you'll honestly feel like you're at a major pro event,
That's
and
awesome.
you don't know who's going to stop by in the crowd. There's always a whole bunch of characters. This is a very special gym. This is a very unique, special gym with a lot of good support.
Well, if
A
you
lot of good people from all over the city.
if you have any press materials, any posters, anything like that, feel free to send it to us. We'll
Yeah.
put it out all over our social media. We'd love to support you guys.
Oh, absolutely. We'll definitely contact you after. We'll work something out for that, sure, and hopefully see you guys here. Absolutely. It'd be amazing. You guys will definitely enjoy it.
Great. Thanks for coming on, Pete. That was
Anytime.
That was Peter Zergiotis and Otis Grant of Grant's Gym joining us on Hot Sauce Sports. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Petey.
Have a great night, guys.
You too,
You
buddy.
too.
Beautiful.
There we go.
There it is.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a fun
Oddly
moment.
smooth for us.
And that's the show.
Yeah, I'm off.
And you
See
could
you guys
use-
next week.
I mean, it can't get better than that, right? It's all
that's
downhill
pretty
from
good.
here.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna make fun of the news.
Why the hell? Before we do that, why the hell would how do we get all these fucking guys? I don't know. We're
lucky.
We just asked the right questions and headlines.
Listening to Hot Sauce Sports.
And you can subscribe. Yeah, you can always subscribe.
They get the shows, then they choose to listen to it or
Yeah, subscribe
not.
on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, And then follow us at Hot Sauce Sports on every social media.
No one, you can't be oversubscribed because that's not a word.
Exactly. So subscribe just the right amount of time.
Be a word. It's all better.
Yeah. This is the funniest meme I've ever
I
seen.
saw this meme this morning and I couldn't stop laughing. Alan Branch does look exactly like Uncle Phil.
Oh my god.
It is insane. It is absolutely
When
insane.
did Uncle Phil sign with the Patriots?
It's amazing that they've been able to like use him past death. Like, there's only one team
true,
that
huh?
can resurrect people, and I think it's the Patriots.
The Patriots. Yeah, they've resurrected a lot of people.
Yeah.
They've also killed a lot of people.
If you name the people in Florida, then
You're talking about Aaron Hernandez. Just
Aaron
get the
Hernandez.
point.
I kept almost saying Aaron Rodgers.
I know.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers kills people. He kills people with his bitterness. Fuck you, ego.
And his mustache.
Packers fan.
Yeah. Terry, it was an interesting weekend of football. You were talking about off air and potentially on air. We never know when the mic's on.
Yeah, we
in
don't
this
even
place.
know anymore.
But you were talking about how you're a fan of what Buffalo's doing.
I like what Buffalo's doing. I mean, I like their whole appeal. Love the jerseys. I like watching them play. They've always seemed like a fun team to me. I mean, they're not going to score 45 points, but I don't know. Defensively, they play well. I've always liked the players that they get. You know, like I'm a Buffalo guy.
It took 16 weeks for Frank Gore to score exactly 0 touchdowns for the Miami Dolphins last season. He scored 1 touchdown in 1 week after Devin Singletary got hurt.
Amazing.
For the Buffalo Bills.
I love it.
Fuck you, the Bills.
I didn't realize Devin Singletary's hurt.
He got hurt.
I also like. I feel
It's
like
not an injury. It's like he just left the game.
But he'll be out. He might be out for a couple of weeks.
Oh, really? Okay.
there's so many injuries this
This
year.
is my
It's crazy.
fantasy article about who you should pick up Frank Gore. If you can.
I love how many injuries there are this year.
Okay.
Because
Trying
then
for
all
return.
the Colin Kaepernick conversations come back.
Yeah, well, that helps you, right? Helps you feel better.
You're basically Jason Whitlock. You've become
No,
Jason
no.
Whitlock.
Jason Whitlock's a fucking Dumbo. I
Well,
actually said Eagle.
I mean-
Eagle can attest to this. I actually said I said even I can't deny that Colin Kaepernick should be getting some consideration right
Oh,
now.
because
And
that
I-
guy Falk that was playing. For
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
He
like
looked
Marshall
that bad.
Falk.
He didn't look
And I
that bad.
sent him the GIF.
He couldn't
of,
make the Dolphins.
I sent him the GIF of Homer Simpson with the sign "The end is near,"
Yeah,
walking out and proclaiming the apocalypse.
So I'm like kind of saying like so okay. It's just so we can go through the injuries. What's happened this
Let's
week?
do it.
Darnold made out with someone's asshole. Got mono.
Wait, how did you know it was my asshole?
I said someone.
But can somebody explain to me what? How do you get mono?
By making
Mono-
out someone's asshole.
mono
It's
is
a disease.
It's an
I
autoimmune
know, but
disease. It's not.
How do you get like
It's like
herpes?
when your
So
immune
it's
system.
herpes.
Okay.
No, when your immune system is down, you can get infections, and it's an
But see, like
infection.
autoimmune
I'm
makes
so
it sound like
confused
it
by
would be
this.
the opposite. Like you're
yeah, like you
automatically
should automatically
immune.
have an immune system.
So it's just like if I went to the doctors and be like, well, you have this autoimmune condition, and be like, yeah, you can't kill me, bitch. And then he's like, nope, you're
No,
gonna die.
you're
very
actually
soon.
dying in 3 weeks.
Immediately.
What do you mean flammable and inflammable mean the same thing?
Seriously, we got a problem with our language, man.
But why do they say that he's going to be away from the locker room? He has to be away
Because
from the
other
locker room.
people
it's
can
so
get mono.
contagious. Well,
It's
if
like
If he
herpes.
makes out
But
with
that's
them,
the whole-
yes, it is.
But that was the whole thing
It's
with all
not the only way you can catch it.
that was the whole thing with all the
you
memes.
guys said you catch it by making out with people.
That's-
So now you're
no,
saying
no,
that
No, no,
It's
okay,
because
but-
it's known as the kissing disease, but because
Okay.
it's so contagious, you get it while kissing. But it's not just through kissing that you get it.
But like, okay, imagine so he takes like a bottle of Gatorade, right? So sucks
Yeah.
on it nice and good, and
Yeah.
then someone else drinks from the same bottle. Congratulations,
Yeah.
you basically kissed him.
I
Yeah.
don't see why he's going
But
to
the whole thing is
for 5 fucking
the whole
weeks,
thing
though.
with this is just saying that the Patriots did it because they traded Demaryius Thomas, and then one day later, this motherfucker's got mono.
I don't think it takes like 24 hours to develop.
I don't know.
Maybe
But
maybe they're making up
Where
before.
there's smoke, there's fire. Just like there was at the Titans game.
Monday night there was a
Tennessee
girl in
Titans
the
game.
Monday night there was a girl in the stands with the sign that said I gave Darnold mono.
You know, he actually had to reply to that and be like, "I don't know who this girl is."
Yeah, there's Sam Darnold's wife or girlfriend getting real angry.
Yeah.
Um.
So Darnold's injured.
Yeah, Drew Brees.
Drew Brees banged up, broke
His
his
hand was
thumb.
just swallowed
Yeah,
by Aaron Donald. That was nonsense.
My favorite is watching him try to pick up the ball. Literally, like puts his hand around it, lifts, and it immediately falls, and he fucking walks away.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, he got
nope,
pissed.
not gonna happen.
Oh, the,
So
the
6
odds,
weeks out.
like,
But
changed.
they have a very good backup though. Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater.
So Colin
Former
Kaepernick, could he sign there?
No, because they have a good starter.
So yeah, so after Darnold goes down, he doesn't play.
I think there's
and
a decent
then
chance
Trevor
for Simeon.
Simeon breaks his leg.
Trevor Simeon breaks his foot. You saw it hanging
Yeah,
off.
That was insane.
But the
That was
motherfucker walked off the field.
Yeah, that was that probably contributed to more damage.
Adrenaline is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, a fucking.
Well, we were
massive
talking
hell of
about
a-
it in our like fantasy group, and some of the guys were saying, "Yeah, he broke his foot," And I was like, I saw him walk up the field.
Yeah.
And then other people were like, no, it looked really bad.
I thought he broke his hand because I didn't see the play at first, and I saw him walking off, and they were holding his hand. I'm like, oh wow, it looks like his hand's dangling off his hand.
So every scouting report in the world on Trevor Siemian said he's not built to take NFL hits. By the way,
every single one.
It's just his
What
body.
about Luke
He
Falk?
is a horrendous quarterback.
Yeah.
If there was
Like that's
ever, if
that's
there-
how
yeah.
that's why the NFL settled the collusion case was because Colin Kaepernick just handed over a file. On the inside of the file had 2 words: Trevor Siemian.
But now Luke Falk comes in.
plays better than Simeon.
Well,
I wouldn't say
because-
better. I would just say as shit.
He just kept shoveling the pass off to Le'Veon Bell
Yeah, that's
every single time.
That's fine. Le'Veon
It
Bell
kind of
was happy.
worked.
Le'Veon Bell was happy about that. Le'Veon Bell owners were happy about
Except
that.
when he was
Le'Veon
crying.
wasn't happy. He was crying.
It looked like he was crying.
He was not happy.
Yeah.
Took some lessons from Derek Carr. That keeps you on the team though, because Derek Carr's still there. So
And now your boy Big Ben done.
that's my boy.
Done for the season. Your
yeah.
boy. You guys share a lot of the same pastimes.
Nope.
Nope.
None of
Never
this
did that.
except eating.
Except eating.
Not
yes.
even anymore.
I meant burgers.
You think he's done forever? You think he's coming back? You think he's going to
So-
pull up Peyton and go
he
win
says
a
he's got- he
Super
says he's
Bowl
gonna
with
play
the
out his full
Broncos?
contract.
Yeah, 3
well, no,
years.
but what's
He's got 2 years
interesting
left.
is what's interesting is to your point, Duke. Ben Roethlisberger's never been about helping anyone.
Yeah.
Never.
And all of a sudden, he
Even
knows
with
he's
or
at the end of
without
his
the
career.
consent.
Rudolph's not as
Mason
Yeah, it is
Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph.
Mason
Yeah,
Rudolph.
Mason.
I know. I
You
forgot his
said
first
call-
name.
Rudolph Mason.
You just called him Mason.
Guys, I'm
which
not
is
doing
weird.
it today.
You don't know him by
But
first
apparently
name
they're
basis.
very high on him.
Mason Rudolph looked pretty good.
I liked him. Yeah,
without
I
a full week of practices
Yeah, I
with
liked
primary reps. And
Good receiving
Roethlisberger's not
quarters.
younger.
Yeah.
This might be, if this season goes completely sideways, Tomlin might not be there to keep Ben around. So he sees the writing on the wall, and all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm not an asshole. Look how much I can help somebody.
Yeah, because if Tomlin might get fired at the end of the year if they don't make the playoffs.
But that's it.
So yeah.
And like if he does, there's no one, like nobody else owes Ben Roethlisberger anything, right?
He'll still sign somewhere if he wants to,
Oh,
but I think he'll
he
retire.
will,
yeah.
but
But he'll play his 3 years. He'll retire. That's
But I think it might have to be in a mentoring role where he's
for
making
sure,
5 or 6 million just to hold a clipboard.
yeah, but like you're saying, I don't think that's a role
Question for you.
he's going to willingly accept.
Because he has a 3-year deal starting this year, right?
I don't know when it starts. It's a good question.
Here's a question for you guys.
Well, the deal runs through 2021. So this year, next year, and then 2021.
Yeah.
So this year's gone.
So this year's gone.
2
So
left.
2 years left.
Yeah.
Hot seat talk. Who do you think is going to get fired first, Jay Gruden or Dan Quinn?
Oh, okay. So Jay Gruden doesn't have much to work with. He signed Alex Smith injured. Haskins is there. They're trying to bring him up, and they have Keenum in there. So he doesn't really have much to work with. It's not like he has. Who is receivers?
Terry McLaurin,
McLaurin. Terry McLaurin. He's like the number 1 guy that everybody picked up in week 2
30%
of
target
fantasy.
share.
Yeah, exactly. So I
In my
don't.
fantasy
I don't
league,
think
by
that
the way.
he's on the hot seat yet because I don't think he has the pieces. He has the excuse where he doesn't have the
Yeah,
pieces.
but he's like, how many years more will he not have the pieces?
Or I think Dan Quinn is like should have been fired.
Well, so Dan
Yeah, by
Quinn,
Yeah.
since Kyle Shanahan left the team,
Yeah.
the offense has looked inept.
It sputtered. It sputters.
And you
Well,
have
Julio
you
Jones
have
didn't get a
alien.
touchdown last
You
year.
have an alien wide receiver.
He didn't
in
get a
Julio
touchdown
Jones.
last year.
But they just have an issue with they have this. They've always had this issue with the red zone. They just can't score.
to be
It's
fair,
because they run the
it
same
is.
fucking play
yeah.
that works 10% of the
Also,
time.
and then they do this thing where Matt Ryan's getting like chased down by 4 guys,
Yeah.
and he closes his eyes and throws it to where he thinks Julio is.
And then all of a sudden there's 4 defenders there.
But
It
I gotta
works sometimes.
Yeah.
They do lead the league in fucking up in the red zone though.
They do
Like, they're
because
the best at
they
it.
run the same play. They run that same fade to the corner, and it doesn't work, man. It's like it's the one thing Julio Jones can't do.
Well, because it's super low percentage, and it's not like in the 90s where only receivers could jump.
Yeah.
Like these guys are
DBs are
athletic now. DBs are also 6'1" now.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were 5'9" back in the 80s.
They
you
were
know?
just 5'9" stocky fast guys
Yeah.
before, you know.
And that's not the case anymore.
No.
Now these guys are great athletes. Team without athletes is my Miami Dolphins.
Oh man.
Me and Darius Rucker, we know what it's about. They make me cry. But this weekend, one Dolphin in particular made me. You laugh to keep from crying. Kalen Ballage had 2 moments for me. Eagle Cube, the first one.
20! Second and 10. Play fake, Fitzpatrick. Wow. 20! Play fake.
Where did you think the ball was going, Kalen? You're supposed to be a pass catcher on the call.
Is that the next one?
20! Second and 10.
Over and over.
Oh, I went off
Play
the
fake,
head.
Fitzpatrick.
He ducked, Terry.
20! Second and 10.
What the duck?
Play fake, Fitzpatrick.
He's on one of my rosters too. Don't worry.
He's on my back. He's on my back.
So you are the check down. You're bubbling out. The ball's coming towards you. Nope, I don't want it.
You have an opportunity to pad your stats a bit here. Just catch a 3-yard
But
hook
even
and then
look
take
at the
7 yards.
yardage in front of him here. There's nobody.
There's nothing.
There's nobody.
He probably
No
expected it
other
to go
receivers
somewhere else.
either.
He looks like the guy who's like, oh, don't give me the ball. That's what he wants. That's
Please
what he
stop.
is. Yeah,
and
he's
then
like,
and then
I
later
just
in the
wanna get
game,
paid.
he was trusted once again, and this happened.
This was great for the
Fitzpatrick,
Patriots
plenty of time.
defense fantasy.
Bobbled and picked off.
Watch the O-line trying to chase him down, though. Like, he doesn't even care. He's like, whatever. You're not going to
No,
get
that's
me.
Collins' top speed, by the way. Collins is not fast.
Okay, so when I watched this live, so Hightower, the linebacker that was chasing his own player, like he was blocking for his guy. Watch this. If he gives up on the play, he kind of is like, okay, this fat offensive lineman, continue going. The fat offensive lineman's not going to catch him, so he slows down. But continue. That offensive lineman almost catches him. If he catches him,
He didn't actually catch him.
but like if he had one
the
extra
only
yard,
reason why
would've
he
been
had a
able to score.
chance in catching him is because the guy was jogging the rest of the
No,
way.
I'm
Gilmore
telling
was
you,
jogging.
dude. That's
Full
Collins'
speed.
full speed.
Full speed.
It's not his thing. He's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a fast runner. Dude, can
never
you get
been.
his 40 time for me, please?
It's like 7-3. No, I'm just saying, it's like Hightower. Does he get cut?
Plenty of time.
I don't think it's cut.
He'll get blown up. Yeah.
Another mistake, and Jamie
Belichick was still giving shit for this.
Yeah,
makes
for
them
sure.
pay.
Oh, you want to know Hightower's 40 time?
Not Hightower.
Touchdown, Patriots.
Collins.
Jimmy Collins.
Anyway.
The other so
So it's fun being a Dolphins fan.
it isn't. Well, I mean, it's okay because you know what it is.
I got it.
What is it?
What's the 40 time?
It's 4.6. 4.6.
4.6. And he's slower now.
A 4.6?
Yeah.
And he's slower now.
19 reps. Vertical jump 41.5 inches.
That's not bad.
Broad jump 139.
Don't know.
Whatever. Three cone
19
drill.
reps
No one
only?
cares.
We don't care anymore.
7 seconds.
19 reps? 19 reps.
Yeah.
Did you see the size of that guy?
Yeah.
Marco Briette, our guest last week, 35 reps
That's impressive.
at the CFL Combine. That's
Not
cool.
drafted.
Drafted?
Yeah.
Yeah, go drafted as an athlete. Right?
So the Dolphins also traded Micah Fitzpatrick, who was deeply unhappy about playing multiple positions, although that's why they drafted him. But the Dolphins got another first-round pick for Micah Fitzpatrick, so they basically got a refund.
They have 2 picks per round next year.
They have 3 first-rounders next
They
year.
have 3 first rounders, yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, good for them. Rebuild.
Well, that's what they have to do.
But it gives you hope.
yes, that's why I'm enjoying this.
But that's like, as a Habs fan too, it's like the last couple of years, I'm like, I've got hope because there's a lot of guys that are in the system that are very good, you know?
Yeah.
So, I'm hopeful. And it's good. I mean, it sucks for this year because it's a write-off. So you get to enjoy other teams.
yeah, but imagine
a lot of times as fans, we don't really watch other teams because our teams are good.
But how would you feel if you were on that team now and you were part of their long-term plans?
So that's a problem. It's like, you have to make yourself long-term planned.
Because Xavier Howard showed how he felt as
Yeah.
a guy who just signed a big contract with them.
Yeah. When they traded Micah Fitzpatrick. He's like, it should have been the All By Myself song.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
It's a good scene.
Jalen Ramsey
I feel bad for him.
it looks like he might be requesting a trade.
So rumors are said that he requested a trade, but he said that he didn't ask for a trade. He said, "I want to fucking win, and if you guys don't want to win, then get rid of me." Like pretty much what he said.
What do you think's more likely to happen? Ramsey being traded or them firing the coach?
Ramsey being traded.
Even though Ramsey's likely more valuable. Because Marone can't cover anyone.
Marone's not going to keep that job. Marone was lucky to even get a job.
First of all,
if you remember.
but it's not just Maroney the problem here. There's always something with Jalen Ramsey. I feel like he's always in the news for something. I don't think he's done anything wrong in this situation. I think he got into an argument with his coach because he said something dumb or the coach said something stupid, whatever. And now he's like, "Fuck it."
It was over a challenge apparently. He wanted Marone to challenge the play.
Hopkins catch.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, exactly. But Maroney, he's like this tough guy from New York. Like, he's not gonna, bow down to somebody talking shit to him.
And the thing is, in this specific scenario, like Jalen Ramsey says he wants to be there to win. I actually liked what Marone did, actually going for 2 on the road
For sure.
with a chance to win the game.
And you
backup
have
quarterback.
You have Gardner, big balls, fucking Minshew.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about him later in the show.
Oh
but
yeah.
Marone, balls. Cliff Kingsbury, kicking field goals inside the 5 3 times. You have Kyler Murray. You can't get him into space. offensive genius, can't figure out how to get the fastest guy in the field into space.
He can't be thinking well because his wife is a dime piece.
That could be it.
She's
that must be
taking
it.
up all his space in his head.
All the blood's flowing to his cock.
Where did they play last week?
Who?
Arizona.
They played Baltimore.
She doesn't live in Baltimore.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So he's like thinking, what the fuck is she doing? Is she banging that photographer? Is she, hooking up with Ben Roethlisberger unwillingly? Is she? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things going on in his head. So he's not thinking well.
She won't be in Baltimore, but she'll be in Pittsburgh. You're saying?
No, Big Ben travels to her, my friend. Okay. That woman does not move. She's beautiful. You travel to her.
Yeah.
Holly Saunders, check her out.
Absolutely.
Did you guys hear that Minshew got an offer from a porn company to star in one of their films?
So later on the show,
We'll talk
I'm going
about
to toss some facts about Gardner Minshew, and I'm going to make Terry decide which one of the facts is false.
Okay, cool. I'm down with that.
Doing a little true or false later on, and when we get to rapid fire. But for now, let's move on. Terry, your favorite basketball player?
Reggie Miller.
Your new favorite basketball player.
Okay.
For which you share a lineage.
Yes. Well, I mean,
Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I don't think we share lineage. He's born in Greece. I'm not. My parents were.
Yeah. Lineage.
His parents were not born in Greece.
Lineage. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's no lineage there.
So you guys share a lineage. But you don't seem to
share a
share
birthright.
an affinity for where he may play in the future. Because according to ESPN's Michonne...
it's wrong.
I can't remember names. Shelburne? Ramona Shelburne.
Never
Guys, I'm having a good day.
Never heard of her.
Ramona Shelburne.
Sounds like a gem.
No, well, she's been a reporter there for like 20 years, so you should have heard her. She talked about...
Did she do basketball? Or just basketball?
She does mostly basketball.
Okay, sorry. That's fine.
She talked about the chances that Greek Freak may join Golden State in the future.
Okay, so...
Nick, it's ironic that you're here because the one team lurking out there that I don't know how this would happen, but the one team...
can have it, baby. They got the money to make it.
The Warriors have always been the big threat to go after Giannis. One, he's friends with Steph Curry. He has that same agency. They know each other. It would be a difficult construction to make happen, but that is the one looming threat, and it comes down to what kind of guy is Giannis. What does he want his legacy to be? Is he the guy who stays with one team his entire career and tries to bring a championship to Milwaukee?
Absolutely.
Or does he pull the Kevin Durant and go join a group of super friends?
No, he will not pull a Kevin Durant. So this whole thing about he's friends with Steph Curry, they probably talk like once a year.
Also, but like, so there's not that many NBA players on the planet. They tend to all be friends.
And not only that, so I think that, listen, it's nice to say because this is the way basketball is what it's become.
Mm-hmm.
It's become this.
I think
where do I want to play?
It's
now?
always been that.
Yeah, okay,
to be
true.
honest,
but it's
never been this public.
But we
just
never,
social media has changed.
We also never had guys like we don't have guys now like Kobe who stayed one team. With Dwayne Wade, we do have him technically stayed with one team until the end where he was kind of forced to.
Okay,
not stay with
but
the
we
same
did
team.
have Shaq change team.
We did have Shaq.
We had
but Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan recruit Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, but Dennis Rodman played for Detroit, San Antonio.
I'm just saying though, like okay, I understand Michael Jordan
look
didn't
at the
move,
Spurs.
but he was also lucky enough to have Scottie Pippen first of all, and then when he felt that wasn't enough, he had his team go out and get Dennis Rodman.
So go out and get. That's what I'm saying. So that's back to my point.
But the superstar in Dennis Rodman also moved. Like Dennis Rodman was an absolute superstar at the time.
So watch the documentary on Dennis Rodman.
I saw the first half.
Okay,
Actually.
so he explains why he left. And he wanted to be himself in a different city. He went to Chicago.
I get it, but that's what I'm saying. Guys in the NBA have always left for a variety of reasons. Be it climate. Be it like legit. Kawhi Leonard just left the championship team for climate.
But he was forced to go to the place where the climate sucked.
I understand.
He was traded.
I understand, but like, I mean, from all intents and purposes, he had good relationships with guys on the team. He had a good relationship with ownership. He had good enough to arrange a sign and trade when he didn't have to.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he left because, look, in the winter, LA is nicer than Toronto. Right? So guys,
speak for yourself.
I am. guys have always done this in the NBA, is my point, and it just only gets attention now because this is the social media age.
So I don't think that he's gonna go anywhere. The reason why is because Yanni you can tell the way he talks, the way he acts. He's a very loyal guy. If he leaves, it's because Milwaukee can't afford him or something. Not because he's just gonna leave and join a championship team. You know what I mean?
Don't see him.
He's not the type of guy to join a Miami Heat with.
Well, I mean,
Shaq
sharing a lineage, you would know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're basically on the same wavelength.
Absolutely. So you don't think he would cause like a big stink to leave the team?
No, and I think that he's gonna tell him, listen, I'll stay and take pay cuts as long as you bring guys in. I didn't hear your question.
Terry wasn't listening for the transition. Antonio Brown.
Oh,
switches
sorry.
to do. The saga continues. Terry, another woman has alleged unwanted sexual advances. He's been. So this
When
is
it
really
rains, it
weird. So
pours,
two of the allegations made by Brittany Taylor apparently passed the statute of limitations. Although I thought there was no statute of limitations for sexual assault.
So maybe it wasn't sexual assault. Maybe she was a sex worker.
But it was like 2 years ago.
Yes,
What statute
it's
of
2
limitations?
years on sexual assault.
So she has to
Really?
Yeah. So we're in Canada where there's no statute of limitations.
So
on
she
assault.
has. So
That's not
she
sexual
has.
assault. But
She has the. She
the
cannot
third claim-
claim
She
it.
can. She
2
can only go
years.
civil. She can't go criminal.
Oh.
the third
That's
case.
why she's trying to sue him.
The third case, however, is within the 2 year.
Okay.
Remember, but it's in the state of Florida. So Florida,
Fuck, I just
in Florida,
I think it's
sexual
all
assault is
bullshit.
basically breakfast. Unfortunately,
I mean, I don't know what
So-
happened to these girls, and I feel bad for them if anything did happen. But it's too. We've seen it too often where people are just trying to money gouge.
But statistically, we don't see it often. We just only pay attention to when
To
it
those
happens.
ones, yeah, because we don't want anything to be true.
Exactly.
We don't
Well,
want.
because we don't want to
we
live in
don't
a world
wanna
where people
know-
do that, right?
That's it. We don't want to know that Aziz Ansari just took a girl on a date and forced himself on her, when the truth was that she didn't have a good sexual experience and she tried to sue him.
But there's also countless example against what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like
no.
the
There's
majority-
more examples against what I'm saying than
Yeah.
there is, of course.
Yeah. So we should
I-
probably give these
Yeah.
women a benefit.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, if anything happened.
Look, if it comes
No,
out,
but the reason why I'm saying is because this first girl, it was bullshit. She came out and said it was bullshit. Like,
she didn't say it was bullshit.
yeah, she's like, I just want 75K. That's what
No,
she
she didn't say that.
Yeah.
No, there's still a trial pending.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. But there's she asked for 75K.
She did.
If
She
that's
asked
the
for
case,
settlement, but that's because she can only sue for civil in a civil case. now.
oh, because it's past 2 years.
Exactly.
And civil is maximum 75K.
I don't know. Maybe it depends on the state.
Right.
I'm not sure. But
Take an envelope.
That's why they're going through this, is because she just wants some sort of retribution.
Yeah.
And again, if it turns out to be false, then it turns out to be false. But I'm not willing in either case. Like, again, if a woman is a
I will
victim of
never-
sexual assault, I don't want to make her also a victim by calling her a liar.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know.
So I will not say anything until I hear all the facts.
You know
he
what
also
they say.
Because it's the other way around too. I don't want to say that I believe her because then I'm saying that Antonio Brown did it.
Of course.
And
But
accusing somebody
I'm
of
just
sexual
saying,
assault.
Let's wait for the results, right?
Accusing somebody of sexual assault and people thinking it is just as bad.
And
the other way.
like the justice system doesn't handle it well. Like,
Yeah.
you don't expect two idiots to handle it well on the podcast.
No,
right?
no. I mean, let's do it now.
Yeah. He also had unpaid bills, including money he was supposed to give at a charity auction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is
He's a fucking shady guy.
$700 for a portrait of himself. It's also $700. Like, yo, Antonio, you want me to pay it for you? Bro, it's not a big deal. It's
Would
only
you?
$700.
Would you?
If it got hot sauce in the news, I think I would do it.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
think I would do it.
The Sports Illustrated.
We should
article-
pay.
I know. If we get honestly, it'd be good promotion for us.
I do it. Let's do it.
The Sports Illustrated article that came out about him painted him as a guy that didn't believe in paying working class people. Like, they painted him in that sense, and they showed countless examples of the guy stiffing people, like stiffing checks. He didn't pay that lawyer who he farted all over.
It was in the lawyer's
Yeah, but
doctor.
Doctor.
What's the problem with that?
What do you mean? What's
But
the
he's
problem
doing
with that?
he's doing movements. The guy probably just had a big lunch. I don't know, and it's just coming out. It's
Well, I've been
normal.
honestly, I told you what happened for supper. I've been ripping farts this whole time.
Shit happens.
Luckily,
Just
they've mostly been
literally.
Yeah,
but
but you don't.
wasn't there also the story of like MJ went for like gambling with Wayne Gretzky or something, and he wasn't tipping the person? And
Yeah,
like,
yeah. There's a
Gretzky
lot
had
of
to basically
stories.
give $100 on his behalf, pretty much.
There's a
whatever.
lot of stories of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan not tipping.
Michael Jordan never liked tipping people in general.
No, but that's the thing is like he wouldn't tip, and there's a known story. Wayne Gretzky gave like an additional X amount just to cover his tip. He wouldn't tip.
Well, that's
But-
gambling money for Michael Jordan.
But
So-
these
Yeah, exactly.
these stories are amplified after all of this bullshit that went down with him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's
if
true.
he if
But
it
the thing is,
wasn't
if
for
he was an otherwise pleasant person, probably this never comes up.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I find very curious about this is that the NFL wasn't aware whatsoever about this case that was pending, and neither were apparently the
Raiders.
Patriots.
Neither were the Raiders.
The Raiders and the Steelers, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
in terms of the Patriots, they had no idea whatsoever.
I don't believe that because I guess there's a whole thing that unless it breached confidentiality, they wouldn't necessarily know. But man, the NFL claimed to not know a lot of stuff, even though like when TMZ has had a video of Kareem Hunt for months, and you say you haven't heard about it,
But you
come on.
Okay, so you haven't heard about it. TMZ would hold on to that. They're not going to tell the NFL they have it because the NFL they want that money, the
Oh,
advertising
but
money for
you
themselves.
think nobody tried to sell that to the NFL? And TMZ
I don't
come
because
over
the
and over
NFL
top.
doesn't pay for that shit. They'll be
But
like,
that's what I'm
release
saying.
it. I don't care. Like, what do we have to pay for it?
100%. But
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure blackmailer's first step would be, hey, do you want this coming out about your
No,
team?
the first it would go to Kareem Hunt first.
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't go to Roger Goodell. It would go to Kareem Hunt. Then from there, you don't want it? Cool. I'm sending TMZ $2 million. Bam.
But in this case, there wasn't exactly a video. It's more of the.
I know. It just seems
a
that
report of something happened.
They constantly claim that nothing happens. I find that difficult to believe.
Yeah, because they have all of their private investigators and everything to look into.
Well, not even that. It's just that you're saying the entire front office of the NFL is completely oblivious to anything that any of their players are doing, which makes no sense because if you're an organization and a player does something, the player tells the coach tells the ownership should tell the league because it's a cooperative thing, right?
Yeah.
One team goes down, all teams going down.
They're franchises.
But I feel like this is just another example of how the NFL has no idea whatsoever how to deal with legal cases, and they always act as if they're like this.
They shouldn't have to.
They shouldn't have to, but
they
choose
position
to.
themselves
They choose
as
to.
the moral authority.
And they're not.
I guess
they're not.
You know, they're the ones. Roger Goodell fought for the power in collective bargaining to the power to suspend with or without
prejudice
a legal case. Whether it was a legal situation or not, they reserved the right to suspend players for violating their
code of conduct.
Code of conduct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're going to be judge, jury, and executioner, you better know how to rule.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. That's true. That's a very good point, Eags. Like you rule us.
A dude who would appear deserves judge, jury, and executioner.
Tim Tebow.
No, not there yet. Felipe Vasquez.
Oh, this guy's brutal.
Yo, arrested for soliciting
This is
a child and pornography.
Let's try having one sexual assault per episode.
I'm sorry, it was a sexual assault heavy episode.
Yeah, we didn't have to put AB in there. This I would have loved to talk about.
But this one has children.
That's why.
What's there to even say about this?
I don't know. I thought that was important.
Like fuck him, fuck this guy, and he does it at the field.
Well,
where this girl's just hanging around after the game. I don't get it.
There's a whole bunch of texts that the FBI has.
He says it's sex, but not really. That's what he said.
Yeah, but they have texts where
13-year-old girl, sex, but not really.
When is sex initiated? Is this a Seinfeld episode?
I don't know.
When is sex
I
initiated?
mean, it is coming to Netflix, so.
Yeah?
Yeah, they got the exclusive rights.
I just finished watching all the Offices.
Oh God, I don't even know if you want.
It's perfect. You finish The Office, you start Seinfeld.
Just give me your summary of what you read.
He's saying that it's sex, but not really because the.
Wait, talk in the mic. Talk in the mic.
He says he says that it wasn't really because the train station was too small for the train.
No,
Yeah,
did he actually say that?
Yeah, it's exactly what he said.
The train. Well,
yeah.
Not in those words though.
No.
Okay.
No.
The
terrible, but that's what he said.
So this.
Who did he say that
to?
To investigators.
Can we just throw him away?
So basically,
now?
his defense is, well, I tried to fuck her, but I just couldn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
This is awful.
Yeah. We're moving on.
Anyway, I hope he gets his fucking dues,
yeah.
and I hope that she's okay.
They won't take it lightly on it.
And
I
the
hope
worst
she
is,
survives. I hope her name doesn't go public.
They have a whole bunch of texts where he was trying to meet up with her after the baseball season for sex.
And how old is she? 16?
13.
They have
13, but he says she looks 16.
She's 15 now.
Yeah.
There was 13 when this started. This has been 2 years.
What?
Yeah.
It's not even like you can't even say
So
she's 16, but she looks 18.
But
You know
to
what I
your
mean?
point, to what we were discussing before about AB, and this is why I brought up the AB thing first, is that people are like, oh, but come on, like it took you 2 years to come forward, but yet this is someone where, look, these things are tough. They're not easy to come forward
It's hard for the girl to come out, and especially especially right now, we kind of have this culture, Terry's culture kind of thing, where it's like, okay, I'm not going to believe you right away. So then you're going to be seen as a liar.
Exactly.
So
And
we're
who'd
trying to
want that?
defend Antonio Brown, or we're trying to defend this asshole.
We're not trying to defend him.
That's what
No,
I'm saying.
okay,
It's
this case, no one's trying to defend
yeah,
him
this
at all.
one, nobody.
Let's
Let's just clarify that.
There's a world that
he
like,
doesn't even have a defense attorney.
Antonio Brown seems to be like, like if those things are true about him, he's a shitty person.
He-
this guy's a fucking piece of shit who should rot in hell.
He's not even allowed a public defender because nobody is going to defend him.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
impossible.
They need to change the constitution
The
for this guy
train
alone.
has left the station.
Guess
my friend.
guess the state though.
Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
I don't have to. I read the article, but yeah, it's obviously in Florida. Hopefully, it doesn't always happen in Florida. Hopefully, a proper trial is conducted.
I mean, I guess you could say he is a great closer.
He really is. Yeah, he was in the All-Star game in Cleveland. 5-1 record, 28 saves, 1.65 ERA.
Yeah.
So All-Star.
But
from last year.
All-Star piece of garbage.
But he's probably gonna be missing the rest of the season, I suppose.
Yes,
I don't know how these cases
hopefully
work.
the rest of his life.
But how does that work, though? I guess, does he have to go through the court
Just a
system
few innings
first?
too early.
Shut up.
Does he have to go through the courts
Shut up.
first?
I don't
gonna
think.
fucking hurt
Again,
you.
he's already been arrested for it. So there's, even though baseball doesn't have the same.
I'm asking
code of
because I
conduct as the
really don't
NFL.
understand.
And I
'cause
bet
know
you-
the NFL. I know the NFL code of conduct, but the MLB. I
MLB,
really don't know.
they don't really jump into these things. I don't think.
But
No.
there is already an arrest record.
Oh,
He's already
okay.
been arrested. He's already been indicted.
I just
So
can't remember the
you
last
know what?
time
There's
the
going to be a
MLB
few trains that
suspended
aren't going to fit his station in jail. I'll tell you that much.
There you
Yeah,
go.
fuck
Yeah.
him.
There you go.
That's
Segue.
a great way to get to rapid fire.
Yeah.
Please, yes.
Oh, fuck it.
Yeah, you should, because he's been terrible. He's been terrible.
I'm going to hurt you, Eagle. Okay, go. Rapid fire. No, ruin that for me now.
Rapid fire.
Blue ball. The New York Giants have moved on from Eli Manning and will start Daniel Jones. What do you guys think? Too early? Too late?
I called it actually. I was watching the games. I'm like, he's not playing next week. It's
So,
impossible.
My dad's a huge Giants fan. He called me saying, "This isn't the
Doesn't say
Giants'
much.
decision. This is the Manning Mafia.
Raiders, Dolphins, Giants.
Lots of losers in one family."
Well, Giants more recently
Yeah.
winners.
Yeah, no,
but
Giants have been great.
that's like a rough three rough fan
Recently.
bases.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
drink a
recently.
lot.
Yeah, makes sense.
But so he said it's quote unquote it's not the Giants, it's the Manning Mafia, because right now Eli Manning is 500, and if he plays another game, he likely has a less of a chance of going to the Hall of Fame with a losing record.
You know, in the
So
last
they're trying to save his Hall of Fame bid.
Is
I
what
saw
he-
a guy
that's my dad's conspiracy.
I'm a Cowboys fan. And
Well,
I saw a guy online say that Tony Romo deserves it before Eli Manning. What do you guys think?
No,
Both-
that's
I think both deserve
craziness. That's
you know that
craziness.
since the
I can't argue Tony Romo deserves it.
since the 2017 season,
I believe. Wait, you don't think Tony Romo deserves it?
I don't think so.
I think he absolutely. Look at his number. Look at
No,
his
no,
stats.
I know, I did.
Because to me, championships and wins are team stats.
Oh no, I get that. Yeah.
You can be great
Well,
without
let
winning
Eagle finish
championships.
his point, then I'll talk.
since 2017, the Giants have a worse record than the Browns, and the Browns went 0-16 one of their seasons.
That's crazy.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Manning's played like shit.
No, he doesn't deserve.
The team
to be
has
a
also
starter
been
anymore.
bad.
Yeah.
The
But he-
offensive line's been incompetent.
He doesn't.
Well, I was
deserve
going to say,
be
you can
starter.
argue that Saquon Barkley was a great pick when they were like, oh, we need a quarterback. I think they completely overestimated how long Manning was actually going to last, and
Yeah.
now they have to put Jones in way too quickly.
So the thing is, Odell Beckham Jr. has missed games over the last 2 seasons, but that first season with Odell Beckham Jr., it looked like it revitalized Eli Manning's career.
Yeah, that's true.
And it looked like, oh, maybe with a couple pieces, we have one run left with
You
Eli.
got Saquon Barkley.
But like now, it's pretty clear there's no run in Eli.
No, and I think that it's the right time to go with Daniel Jones now. Let him play almost a full season.
Does Eli
This year's a write-off. Next year you draft well, and then you see what happens, man. You pick up somebody. If Daniel Jones has a good season, then we go.
It's too late, Eagle. I had a pickup for it. Was a picture of Eli looking dumb.
We'll end with the Tony Romo discussion because I want to talk about it because I love Romo.
Yeah.
Ballers deep in an argument about big baller brand. LeVar Ball calls out his son Lonzo, and he calls him damaged goods.
Yeah, he's a fucking
Let's
great
watch the clip.
Great father. Great father.
The name?
Hell no, I wouldn't change the name.
I'm just saying from a marketing standpoint.
From a marketing standpoint, regardless of what it is.
I'm just saying, that's my opinion. I'm just asking a question.
I'm just saying. Triple B is always going to be the name. On the fact that it also stands for the 3 Ball brothers. I'm not changing that at all.
What's your opinion on that, Joe?
I don't give a about his opinion.
I just want to hear it.
But no, listen to me, son. When I come up with a name and then somebody tell me to change it, that's like me telling me to change your name. That's like people saying, oh, hey, change Lonzo's name to Alfonso on the fact that he's been damaged goods for the last 2 years.
Out of context.
He's also right about that.
Out of context.
Right.
Out of context. He was saying that the media has said that about him. He would never say that about his kids. I know that, but he's still a fucking shitty father.
So even though the thing that made you think that isn't the case. By the way, Terry drinking on air because he lost a fantasy bet last week.
Yeah. We're drinking the from like 20 episodes ago, the worst whiskey I have ever had. Cask and Crew sponsored. This segment is sponsored by Cask and Crew, the worst whiskey I've ever had.
Give us money.
But it's good enough that I'm drinking it again.
Yeah, and it was the bet was that you've heard of waiver budgets before. We were budgeting per a 700 milliliter bottle, so Terry needs to drink 3 shots to correspond to how much waiver budget he has spent.
Who is your best player this week, Terry?
Matt Lacoste.
Yeah.
Really? That's awful.
I had no idea he even played.
No, all my guys got points. Where Peeze, 3 of his guys got points. I even had Josh Rosen at 2.5. Why did I draft Josh Rosen? I spent $30 on Josh Rosen.
Well, because you were running out of players.
I spent the shot I just took on Josh Rosen.
Yeah, he was one of the last ones too.
Cheers to Josh Rosen.
You know why? It's because if I remember, Pease was bidding willy-nilly.
I was bidding willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. And then you
it's because I didn't trust who was going to be at the end.
You kept getting outbid, and then you waited till the end.
Yeah, because I drafted Raheem Mostert and Mecole Hardman.
We're getting there.
Rapid.
Everything but the balls. Gardner Minshew the second. He's fucking awesome.
I love this guy.
So here's some stats on Gardner Minshew the second. You tell me which one you think is false. One of them is. Several are true. Some may be false. You tell me which of the following you think is false. First of all, there's no Gardner Minshew the first. Second, his father, who may or may not be named Gardner Minshew the first, wants his grandson to be named Beowulf Minshew. His nickname was the Mississippi Mustache. He was a backup at.
Wait, you want me to tell you which ones are true?
I want you to tell me which ones are false.
Which ones are false?
He was a backup at Alabama.
Okay.
He works out in elastic bands and jock straps and nothing else. He in high school he had something called a Panini Club.
Sounds legit.
And he scored.
I want to be a part of that club.
He scored a 42 underleg.
Okay, is that good? A underleg?
Very good. Second high school.
Awesome, dude.
Okay, so I believe that. I believe the Panini Club. I believe the bands workouts.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there is no Gardner Minshew the first.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that he was the backup of Alabama. I knew that.
Okay, so you have Panini Club, Beowulf.
No, I believe the
Okay,
Panini
so you have
Club.
Beowulf and Mississippi Mustache.
Yeah, these are the two. So I know that it's Beowulf is the wrong one.
Nope, all of them are true.
Except for the Beowulf.
All of them are true.
Oh, okay.
And his dad Billy, not Gardner, wants for his grandson to be named Beowulf.
Wait, he actually scored a 42 on the Wonderlic?
He did.
That's like statistically impossible.
He played for Mike Leach. Actually, it's not hard to believe because he played for Mike Leach, and that offense is insane.
Did you guys see the video of Mike Leach this week?
Yeah, about the mascots.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. That guy.
So imagine having him calling your plays. Like he's super smart.
That's exactly what I want.
If you score a 40, you're in the top 1% of the world.
Like your Mensa?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a different type of test, but basically.
Yeah, so like that's the thing. So he and apparently he had the second highest score in I think NFL history.
And he went to Alabama and then Texas Tech.
Well, he was supposed to go to Alabama, but then was convinced otherwise by Mike Leach, who said,
Texas
"Look,
Tech, right?
You want to lead the nation in passing? Come play for me."
Who does Mike Leach? No, Mike Leach.
No, not Texas Tech anymore. Why can't I remember this? What's going on with my brain today?
Washington State.
Washington, that's it. Yeah, because he's in the Pac-10.
6th round pick, by the way, Jacksonville.
Hey, maybe you knew Tom Brady.
Hey, you know what? Where's my number? I think I might buy a T-shirt. Gardner Minshew third.
Ballsy choice. Rhode Island School of Design has one of the strangest mascots you've ever seen. Scrody is the mascot for a basketball team known as the Balls, and their slogan is, "When it gets hot, balls stick together."
I feel like Duke designed this.
I love that Scrody has a cape.
Scrody.
And like they could have gone away
with
it's
his foreskin. It just droops down.
They could have gone away with the fact that like if they just had balls, it could have been just a formless nothing that didn't garner any attention. But
no, they went fucking balls deep in this shit. Right
look how veiny they are. Yeah. Like there's like
they went balls deep in this. This is the best. This and
it's
Gritty.
A design school. Of course, it'd be great.
This and
great
Gritty are the two best mascots of all time.
I mean,
and the Philadelphia Phillies guy.
Look, I get it. It's a cock. It's not. Do you feel as a designer, Duke, that that's a particularly well-designed cock?
Well, it's pretty big.
Balls to dick ratio.
Balls to dick ratio is.
Listen, I'm the peace expert here.
It's got like a chode look to it.
Yeah. Like
can
I'm
you,
the dick
you
expert
think
here.
you could design us a better penis mascot?
I'm on it, boys.
I just think that like balls to cock ratio is it's a little off. Like those balls are really big.
He's just punching himself in the balls every time he jacks off.
Like this guy looks like this.
What are you hitting yourself for? What are you hitting yourself for?
This dick would show up on like a B-list porn.
So would you give him smaller balls or a bigger shaft?
I'd give him smaller balls, just 25% smaller.
Less potatoes makes the steak look bigger.
But the only thing is, yeah, exactly.
Tim T-Balls. Yeah, I guess in a round of balls puns, Tim Tebow rallied against California's Fair Play Act and would allow NCAA athletes to accept money for endorsements.
Are we watching the video?
Yeah. Load it.
Can we just read my article at the same instead?
Well, I was going to use this as an opportunity to press your article, but go ahead. Hit play.
You're the sound guy. You should tell us why there's no sound.
I was at the University of Florida. I think my jersey was one of the top
Congratulations,
jerseys
Tim
around the world. It was like Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make $1 from it. But nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to Florida, my dream school, where I wanted to go, the passion for it, and if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from we, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us, it's not about we, it's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling it onto that, where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money, that's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team. It's about your university. It's about where my family wanted to go. It's about where my grandfather had a dream of seeing Florida win an SEC championship. And you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1. And that's just not where I feel like college football needs to go. There's that opportunity in the NFL, but not in college football.
Is in the
I feel like
his brain is off.
His logic is gone.
So here's the thing. He says like, oh, it's because
too many concussions.
You want to play where your parents were school.
Tim.
You want to
suck my balls.
You want to play where your parents were school. You want to play where your grandparents were school. Well, but the problem is that a lot of these kids specifically and like statistically who need the money, who can benefit from the money. Oh, guess what? Their grandparents weren't allowed to go to that college.
Yeah.
And their fathers weren't allowed to go to that college.
Yeah.
So this is the first generation being able to go there.
They didn't have the option of picking a school like you did. You were like, okay, Florida's offering me a ship. You probably got a bunch of other scholarship offers where Antonio Brown example. Antonio Brown is from Florida. What school did he go to? Michigan fucking Tech.
Well, he was supposed to be at FIU. But
whatever.
Yes, just to say.
He ended up there. You know what I mean?
Michigan State. Not Michigan State. Michigan.
It's
they were green.
The third shitty Michigan. It just not everybody goes to where they need to go, and you're going away from your family. He was raised in Florida, Tim Tebow, raised in Florida, went to Florida. Did he play with Jacksonville? No, he didn't play in Jacksonville. No. But just to say is that he spent his whole life in Florida. Some guys don't have that opportunity. I watched that QB1 show. One kid, the only scholarship he got offered was to Maryland. Yeah, he went to Maryland, but he's from Louisiana. You have to do those things.
And but not only that, like the thing is, like what they're saying is not even paying them a salary. It's allowing them to make royalties off their own name.
Yeah, and I wrote an article about this, and my suggestion is that standardize it then. Standardize it. If your jersey sells this much, whatever. Or you make it D1. You talk about Alabama all the way to fucking UCLA.
Listen, Terry,
give them, say, I'm paying you guys $500 a week.
But if you can make money selling your name.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you?
But then,
what allows you to do it, but not them?
But that's kind of where I agree with Tim, where it's like, the pro level is for that.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys, but only 2% of them get to the pro level.
You're getting a free You're getting a free education. It's way too expensive, anyway, just to start with. You're getting a free education.
So let's pay Nick Saban in
no, because then the idea of a student athlete is gone.
Because it's gone already. Stop.
I agree.
These guys don't take classes.
But it's under the table. It's under the table.
What about and I know someone who was a player at South Carolina.
Yuck.
He got injured. Guess what happened to scholarship?
Gone.
Guess who now had to pay for school? Guess who now has a $60,000 debt?
That's fucking nuts.
And he broke his body playing for the sport, playing for the team.
No, I'm talking about there has to be a system in place.
So here's an idea. Tebow's talking about the team and the whole thing about playing for your school and blah, blah, blah. What if all the players pooled all the royalties from the sales of merchandise and gets like 20% of it, and they all split it?
Yeah, I mean,
or what if you just take 1% of your coach's salary and have to give it to
But yeah, in my article, I talked about Dabo Sweeney, how much he gets paid, Duke.
But like, I get the whole argument of, the QB is obviously going to sell jerseys, so it doesn't make sense he's collecting a paycheck.
Yes,
offensive lineman's not
because they're more valuable.
I agree, but I agree with you. I'm just saying in principle, the D lineman isn't going to get any attention.
It's not.
The guard isn't getting any attention.
You tell me NCAA football is not capitalism?
No, I'm not saying their system isn't broken. I'm talking about you can't talk about like. Okay, the quarterback gets more when you're talking about just because the offensive lineman is putting just as much on the line as the quarterback is.
But Look.
So that's what the NFL is
for. I'm saying if I can market my name, if Duke can market his name, if you can market your name,
do it.
Everyone in the world should be able to do so. Why should a third body tell me I can't do it?
So I remember I have a friend that played University of Connecticut.
I'll tell you something.
Coincidentally, go.
None of you guys watch Spencer Strasmore in the fourth season of Ballers, man. I'm telling you, he tried, and the NCAA blocked him. So
that's true.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good point.
He tried his best,
it's a good point. Then
so
we see factual.
If The Rock
might
can't
as well
do
be
it,
a
we
documentary.
If The Rock can't do it, no one could get.
Anyway, we're not going to fix the problem here. NCAA should change the system. There has to be something in place. Right now, there's nothing in place.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, take a step, and then another step, and then another step, and then maybe you and Tim Tebow can meet in the middle because Tim Tebow is the college god, football god of all fucking time.
One last thing, Eagle. Whenever I hear, but we can't pay the players, that would just be too much money and so on and so forth.
They never say.
I heard a story this week. That when Georgia goes on the road, Uga, the mascot, the bulldog, stays in the suite. First of all, he deserves it.
But
he deserves it.
But he's
the
a
players
paid,
also deserve to get
but
paid.
he's like paid. He's an employee. Oh, okay. So bet. Did you get those names?
I got him.
Okay, so
start ripping our names at us.
No, we're gonna do is we're gonna guess the position.
Yeah.
And the person who guesses.
I'll give you the name. You guess position. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes. Number 1,
football players.
Jason Vanderland.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll just go first.
I'm gonna say left guard.
I'm gonna say linebacker.
Tight end. Ooh. Henry Krieger Cobble.
Are these active?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
That's you first.
I'm gonna say Henry Krieger Cobble.
Yeah.
Fullback.
I'm gonna go wide receiver.
Tight end Rams. Carlton Agudosi.
I know what you're doing. Tight end.
I'm gonna just go with center.
Wide receiver. Bobo Wilson.
Oh, Bobo Wilson. I know this. Tight end.
Safety.
Wide receiver.
Fuck.
And the last one is Kalafani Muhammad.
Kalafani Muhammad. I know this. Running back.
For?
Jacksonville, I think.
I'm gonna go offensive lineman.
Running back, Denver Broncos.
That's a game. I got to do a hot sauce bet. Watch that on our Instagram feed. Remember to watch, like, and subscribe. You've been Terry. I've been Peeze. You've been
listening to Hot Sauce Sports.
I beat you.